Okay, so here we are with the second fight that took place on day 33 of Fishtank Season 2, and it is going to be between Greg and Ben. Now, it was originally supposed to be between Greg and Goldstriker, because Greg witnessed a hassling that was partially led by Goldstriker that he wasn't really a big fan of, so he decided to do a very brave and honorable thing and take the heat off of the person who was being hassled by going and ringing the beef bell to call out Goldstriker. So good on him for that. It's a very respectable move. Now Goldstriker decided that he would be merciful to Greg because Goldstriker would have killed Greg, and he substituted in Ben for himself. I guess Ben was downstairs sleeping. That's what Jet said, and they had to go wake him up, slap some gloves on him, and have him go upstairs. So that's kind of funny to see that. Also, I want to say, if you're wondering about this was made by a man named Devlin. The original footage for this fight, as well as the other fight between Jackie and Trish, it was kind of unusable because there was Airsoft Fatty walking around in his birthday suit, as he often does. Devlin took it upon himself to edit out or really to just block out the parts where Airsoft Fatty was, was naked. This is one of the things that he ended up adding in. I wanted to make sure that I showed you this because this was actually a pretty cool feature. And I want to say thank you again, Devlin. I really appreciate the hell out of this. You're a lifesaver. Okay, so here we are. We are going to be watching this half speed as usual, and we're going to get started. But before we do that, I want to say that one of the things I'm going to be looking out for is whether or not I think Ben may have thrown this fight in one form or another, because that is one of the theories that's going around. Everybody expected Ben to beat the hell out of Greg, and I will say Ben did not go as hard as he could have, but I think that Greg was in danger almost the entire time. I think that Greg could have lost this if it came down to it. But we're going to go ahead, we're going to take a look at it, and we'll make that determination. Let's go ahead. Alright, so here we are. Ben kind of uses a bit of a Philly shell. I think that's interesting. Goes jab to the body, followed by another jab to the body. You see, he's kind of throwing at the arms right now. I think right now, Ben's not really trying like that. So, Beast goes jab, swing and a miss with that overhand, and he falls right over. Another swing and a miss, partially because Ben actually slipped it. He slipped two of them. Ben going to the body again. Another body shot. He's not really digging it either, is the thing. So, Ben slips that. The only thing I'm worried about is he keeps looking away when he slips. So Beast comes in. He's kind of got Ben routed right now. He's just bum rushing, but it's enough to push Ben back in a way that he's not comfortable with. Ooh, that overhand almost landed, but it missed by a hair. So that cross ended up landing. Beast comes back with a ooh, okay. Some of those are getting through. All right, so that right there was not a knockdown. I'm sure of that, and Sam seems to be sure of that as well, because when Beast landed, he didn't land with his glove at all. He was landing basically with his arm. So that's considered to be a slip. Technically, it's considered to be an illegal move, but it's more of a slip. Ooh, okay. So the punches are getting through, and Beast is just sort of turning around. He's giving Ben the back of his head, which Ben was being really nice, not hitting him that way. I honestly, he may have been able... you see right there, Beast got hit in the back of the head, and that's because when Ben threw the jab, he turned around, and the right hand was coming right behind that. So Beast kind of with his bum rush. None of these are really landing like that. There's a bit of a slip. Whoops. It's a good thing to have that mattress there, man, So that overhand didn't quite land. That hook did, though. It was kind of a slapping hook. Short right hook, followed by a left hook. And Beast is just sort of taking it. Oh, man. But, wow, okay. So, Beast comes with a cross that hits Ben, and I think it just kind of knocked him off balance. He starts stumbling and he falls over. And Beast was right on top of him after that. That is a knockdown, no question. Good on Greg. What I don't want to see, though, is Greg just kind of sitting there looking away, taking shots. He's got to keep his hands up, and he's got to keep his head towards him the entire time. That was a good... Ooh, that was really good from Ben. Ben ends up in the clinch. He pushes off, and he follows up with a right hook. And now Beast is routed again. He's trying to come back, but that was really not a good look on his part. And here he is again. He's just kind of taking it. He's just kind of letting Ben have his way with him, and that's not good at all. Overhand from Ben, followed by a hook that kind of slaps him in the head. And I'm not sure if that was a knockdown. I'm going to be honest with you. And part of the reason is because I don't really have that good of an angle. Sam is calling it a knockdown. He's giving him a 10 count right now. I'm going to have to take their word for it because I couldn't really tell you either way. It was just a bad angle. You know, we don't have the best angle in the house. You know, there's 2 other cameras. We'll wait and see the footage on that. And then there's mad people around there. Nobody seems to be protesting. So, you know, we'll go ahead and we'll see about that. All right, so here we are, continuing. You see Beast looks away and he gets hit basically in this area. That's a really bad area to get hit in. Kind of, oh man. Wow, nice save, Jackie. They go hurling towards the glass window, and instead of trying to stop them, you get out of the way. Good one. Beast, jab gets through. So he's kind of up against the wall right now. They probably stopped that because they wanted to make sure everything was safe. And that is the end of the round. Okay, so not a bad round on either end. You know, it's funny because I can't sit here and be like, if I had to give this round to somebody, we know who the round belongs to because there was 2 knockdowns in the round. It's Mr. Beast. It's Greg. Greg wins this round. Ben was landing more solid punches more often. He was doing more damage. But that's kind of one of the quirks of boxing. You can land as many punches as you want, but the second you get knocked on your ass, it's a 10-8 round. Beast, what I want to see out of him is, for one thing, jabs. Okay, I want to see him leading with the jab. I want to see that aggression continue because the aggression is what's doing it for him. When he's letting Ben work, when he's letting Ben sit there and pick shots, that's when Greg is really in trouble. What Greg needs to do is get in Ben's face. But one thing I would like to see a little bit more of is, I guess you could say poise. I don't know if that's quite the right word for it, but throwing jabs, leading with jabs is part of that. Right? I want to see him leading with jabs and trying to make sure that when he's aggressive in a range, or at least in a way that is going to work for him. Because a lot of the punches that he's throwing are simply not landing because he's crowding a little bit too much and he's throwing a little bit too wild. I'd also like to see him push. That's something we saw from Ben. Ben ended up in, clinching range, and instead of hugging, right, trying to get overhooks, underhooks, anything like that, he pushed off. And he ended up following up with punches. And that's one of the points where Greg was in real trouble. I'd like to see Greg utilize that, right? And if he does, it'll be really good for him. I don't think anyone's doing terrible. I think they're doing about as good as you probably would expect them to do. I do think Ben is not absolutely positively trying to kill Greg, but as you can see, Greg is taking real punches. They're real punches that are landing solid. And he does not like getting hit. He does not like when they land. He gets hit. Even before he gets hit, he turns away. When he does get hit, he ends up kind of like, he just kind of stops, almost as though he's like quitting, right? He's not quitting, but he's just kind of letting it happen, right? Laying down and taking it, hoping it's not going to be that bad. So, round 2, there's a jab. I think Alex Stein was telling him to throw jabs in between the rounds, because I remember Alex being like, good, as though he was like, good, you're doing what I told you. So that overhand from Ben ends up landing. Overhand misses. That jab kind of sneaks through, but it slides off a little bit. A gazelle jab from Beast. He's turning his head away again. That jab kind of snuck through. And Beast just sort of walks. That was like hilarious to see, the way he walks into that. Oh, that was nice. That straight. You could tell that hurt Ben a little bit. That snapped his head back, and you could see his expression change. Ben tying up the hands right now. Another thing I liked that I saw from Ben is when he saw that hook coming in, he ducked underneath it. Ooh, okay. All right. See, that was a knockdown, no question about it. And you can't even say Ben tried to throw it in that case. Ben got hit, he was out of position, and he fell over. That was good on Beast. And again, Beast ended up in a range that kind of worked for him, and he didn't throw a punch that was like a wide looping hook or overhand. He ended up throwing something that was a little bit more straight from a range that worked for him, and because of that, Ben ended up sitting down. So good for him. He's doing really good right now. All right, and here we go. About to get started. All right, just kind of staring at each other right now, and you see, there's another duck under from Ben that I really liked. Couldn't make him pay for it that time. That jab almost slips through, but oh man, that hook combination definitely landed. Ooh, that hurt. You could see Beast kind of lose control for like a quarter of a second there, right? You could kind of see him almost go limp for like a quarter of a second. That'll happen if you get hit that way, right? Not quite hard enough as to where you get knocked out, but it dazes you for a second. It rattles you, you know? Beast coming in. See, Beast is being aggressive and he's using straighter punches, which is what I like to see. And this is why it's working. Like, this is basically what I wanted to see from Beast. Instead of throwing like that, he's still winding up and things like that, but he's throwing straighter punches when he's walking in. So they end up calling that a knockdown, if I remember correctly, and rightfully so. I think it was partially that they wanted to get him off of the wall, but it was also that he was defenseless and he was kind of going down. He was saved by the wall, so they ended up calling it a knockdown. That was a good call in my opinion. So right now it's basically one knockdown to one knockdown in this round. Technically we're tied, but if you want to go to who's landing more punches, who's being more effective, it's actually a little bit closer this round than it was last round. But I don't know. I think I'd probably give it to Ben. You know. So this is a continuation of round two. Oh, Ben throws an overhand and he kind of stops. That was a nice jab from Ben. You see, Beast was about to start rushing forward, and Ben just threw something out there. It doesn't have to be the hardest jab. That overhand doesn't quite land, and they're kind of clinching right now. Looks like Beast ends up on the floor. When somebody's rushing forward like that, you don't have to hit them with a stiff jab. Obviously, that's good, right? If you snap their head back, that'll stop them in their tracks. But you don't even have to do that. The fact that they're running into it, you can basically just shove something out there in their face, and it'll stop them. It might even hurt them a little bit. Squish their nose. Ooh, that overhand from Ben. It landed, but ooh, that one right there. Again, you could kind of see head snaps back, and for a second he almost appears to lose control. Greg got hit by that one good. All right, Shinji's like, go, dude. What are you doing? Oh, and all right, there's a knockdown. So it appears as though Greg got hit once, right? And I don't know if he was wobbled or if he just stepped wrong and he was partially also tired. But that was definitely a knockdown because on his way down, or basically at the same time as him kind of misstepping, he ends up getting hit by Ben. And it was a nice shot too. It definitely hurt. I think even if he wasn't off balance, it would have at the very least staggered him. If not, it may have knocked him down. This is a crazy fight because so far there's been 5 knockdowns. There's been 2 in one round, 3 in this round, shared between Ben and Greg. That is crazy. So Greg winds up. There's a miss. Ben throws that overhand. You see Greg turning around, running away. Can't be doing that. Can't be doing that. So he bum rushes again. Now, Ben's doing a smart move. It's just not working out exactly the way he wants it to. He's shoving a hand in his face and he's trying to move away. But I think, he just couldn't quite find a spot to put the hand that was going to help him, right? What he needed to do was hide his head behind his arm just a little bit more and keep the arm up. All right, and it wouldn't have been comfortable. It's never comfortable when you have to shell up in any form, right? Whether it's long guard or shell, classic shell, and somebody's throwing punches at you. It's a very uncomfortable thing, even if you are safe. But he would have been a little bit safer, and he probably would have been able to have a little bit more agency in the situation. Now, right here, this is in between rounds. There would be one more round, and it would be a tiebreaker because this round right now would be a 9-7 round. This would be a very rare 9-7 round. It's crazy to think about. So this would kind of be the deciding factor this round. But as you can see, Ben is extremely tired, and he ends up deciding that he has had enough. I do think he is very tired right now. Fighting is a very tiring thing, dude. It really, really is. Both of them are very tired right now. I do think maybe Ben is playing it up just a little bit. Just a little bit, because he may want to be a little bit nice to Greg, but Greg earned this. You cannot say he did not earn it. He 1,000% earned that fight, and I'm proud of him. You know, I'm proud of both of them. There's things that they could both do to improve. Greg has a lot more to improve on than Ben, but the improvements that Ben makes will make him into so much of a better fighter than he already is, you know? One of the things is he tends to throw jabs and crosses like that, right? Instead of throwing them there. He kind of, you know, has him down here. Same thing, he tends to drop his hands when he throws his right hook. And look, everybody has bad habits. I have bad habits, right? I'm not trying to be like, oh, Ben, you got to fix that, bro. That's something I hate, is when people are like, you're dropping your hands. It's like, yeah, fucking everybody does, dude. It's something that I'm calling out, not because I'm trying to like give myself a lift, which is what people typically do when they're calling that stuff out. They're trying to seem like they're the guy who knows the stuff and they're the authority, and you should be taking their advice because they're a super smart guy and they know how to box. I'm not doing it because of that. I'm doing it because, like, I'm actually really impressed with Ben, and I would love to see him get better and better, right? I don't expect Ben to get in the ring anytime soon. I don't know if he has been in the ring before. I would assume this is not the first time he's had to fight somebody. At the end of the day, it'd be nice to see Ben just get better than he already is. But yeah, so there's that. Good on both of them. Congratulations, Greg. All right, you won a hard-fought battle there. It was back and forth. That's all I have for you today. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like and also sub for more. If you have anything to say, leave a comment down below. And if you have anything you want to ask me, hit me up on Instagram, @ScottSullivanMMA. I like making question and answer videos about a wide range of topics, not even just MMA. Other than that, though, thank you very much for watching, and until next time, good luck out there.